Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Karla Schaffer, and this is Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Today we'll tell you about some modern marvels in South County, and we'll hit the trails to be one with nature, making headlines around the county. Anyone who hit the beach recently is probably aware of the proposed toll hikes on the Bay Bridge. This week, County Executive John Leopold joined the chorus of opposition to the move, which would double the toll from $2.50 to $5 this fall. In 2013, the toll would jump to $8, even further. Commuters have been making their opposition known. The state has been strapped for transportation cash and is on the verge of completing the billion-dollar inter-county connector that will link I-95 in Laurel to I-270 in Gaithersburg. That has some jurisdictions complaining that they're paying too much for somebody else's project. In a letter to the Maryland Transportation Authority, County Executive Leopold called for a more gradual phasing in of the hikes, as well as deeper discounts for those people who use the Easy Pass program. He said the new tolls would particularly hit small businesses and the Maryland economy. County Executive Leopold said of the plan, "It is doubtful that the available money to manage a household, support commuting expenses, and maintain a business will keep pace with the added costs associated with using these vitally important transportation facilities. There are signs that the state is considering changes to its plan. It should be a busy summer for the Maryland Department of Transportation."
The tragic loss of a local teen who was struck by a car leaving the Early Heights Carnival this month could result in some long-needed pedestrian safety improvements on Route 2. For years, the community has pleaded for better signals and crosswalks at this location. Family members of Karla has started a petition drive to add a crosswalk to the 4-lane divided highway near the fire station. They've collected more than 400 signatures, according to the Maryland Gazette. County Executive Leopold has placed his support behind the effort by asking the Maryland State Highway Administration to act. The state is responsible for maintaining numbered roads while the county handles name roads. Unfortunately, it takes a tragedy sometimes for people to take action. Kara's death has touched the community, and we are motivated to make sure she didn't die in vain, said the county executive. Mr. Leopold has contacted SHA and noted that there is an existing project to make changes at the intersection, which would be a good opportunity to improve pedestrian safety.
This week, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department responded to 1,568 calls for service. This included more than 1,163 emergency medical calls and 128 fire calls. This week, dangerously high humidity and temperatures had saddled the county and prompted code red heat alert warnings and the opening of cooling centers around the county. These dangerous conditions also tested the will as well as the skill of county firefighters on numerous incidents. Some of these incidents were fires that occurred in the northern and southern areas of the county. With us now to tell us more about these incidents is Division Chief Michael Cox of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. Chief?
Thanks, Karla. The first incident occurred just after 10 p.m. on Sunday, July 24, 2011. At that time, Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a reported dwelling fire in the 7800 block of Huff Court in the community of Freetown. First unit to arrive on the scene reported heavy smoke coming from a 2-story, middle-of-the-group townhouse. At that time, firefighters immediately gained entry into the home and began to extinguish the fire with hose lines that crews were able to advance into the dwelling. In all, it took 24 firefighters about 30 minutes to bring the one-alarm incident under control. The fire, which originated in the kitchen area of the home, caused a significant amount of damage. However, the fire has been ruled to be accidental. In a separate incident, firefighters from Anne Arundel County, Annapolis City, the United States Naval Academy, and Queen Anne's County worked to extinguish a stubborn fire in the Edgewater area of the county. This incident occurred just after 4 p.m. on Monday, July 25, 2011. This was one of 6 simultaneous fire calls that occurred in the southern area of the county that damaged more than 4 homes in the West River, Davisonville, Riva, and Edgewater areas. The first unit to arrive on the scene in the Edgewater incident reported heavy smoke coming from a 2-story single-family dwelling. At that time, an interior fire attack was initiated, taking more than 40 firefighters to bring the incident under control. There was no one home at the time of the fire, and there were no firefighter injuries. The fire, which originated in the basement area of the home, caused a tremendous amount of damage. Although a damage estimate was not immediately available, investigators believe the home to be a total loss. Karla?
Thanks, Chief. County fire investigators have advised that the cause of the fire has been determined to be accidental and have attributed the exact cause to lightning strike on or near the house.
Down in South Anne Arundel County, a film crew from Half Yard Production was at Carr's Wharf this week producing a new season of the History Channel's documentary Modern Marvels. You may remember previous episodes that explore everything from pistols to F-22 fighter jets. Modern Marvels is essentially an engineering show that explores fundamental elements of our life in the modern world. The episode filmed here will focus on various uses of wood. Featured is the Chesapeake Lightcraft, which is an Annapolis-based boat builder who makes wooden kits for their customers to put together. Most of the filming will take place in their factory, but John Harris, the owner of the company, is also going to demonstrate the use of these boats on the water. We'll certainly let you know when the show is scheduled to air.
There is more Week in Review to come. Take a look at the community calendar for what is happening around the county. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
County Executive John Leopold wants to remind all residents that an animal should never be left unattended in a vehicle during the hot summer months. Even on a mild day with the windows cracked, the temperature inside will rise quickly, causing imminent harm or death to pets. If an animal control officer sees an animal left unattended in a vehicle, a criminal citation will be written, and the owner of the vehicle must appear in court and face a potential fine of $500 and 30 days in jail. Don't put your animal in harm's way, even on a mild day. Don't leave any pets unattended in vehicles.
Welcome back. On July 26th at approximately 10 p.m., officers from the Northern District responded to the Taco Bell located in the 6600 block of Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie for a report of an armed robbery that just occurred. Joining us now is Public Information Officer Justin Mulcahy with further details on the investigation. Justin.
Thanks, Eric. Upon arrival, officers spoke to several employees who stated that two male suspects entered the business and announced a robbery. One suspect displayed a handgun and demanded money from the register. The cashier complied with the demands and turned over an undisclosed amount of money to the suspects, who then fled on foot and were last seen entering what was described as a white Lincoln SUV with an unknown tag. The vehicle, which was occupied by a third male suspect, was seen traveling west on Ordnance Road towards Heritage Hill. Several officers searched the area but were unable to locate the suspects, and the investigation is ongoing. The first suspect is described as a black male about 5'9" with a thin build, wearing a white t-shirt, blue jeans, black baseball cap, and a black-red bandana covering his face. Suspect number 2, a black male, 5'9", with a thin build, wearing a gray sweatshirt with a hood, also with a black and red bandana covering his face. And the third suspect is described as a black male. There's no further information at this time. Moving on to our second incident. That one took place on July 27th around 1:26 in the morning. That's when officers from the Eastern District responded to the intersection of East Shore Road and 207th Street in Pasadena for a stabbing. Now, when officers arrived, they located a 21-year-old male victim from Pasadena lying on the roadway, suffering from apparent stab wounds to the upper torso. The victim was treated on the scene there by fire department personnel initially, and then transported to shock trauma for treatment of what was deemed to be non-life-threatening injuries. Preliminary investigation revealed that an altercation occurred between several individuals at that intersection. Now, according to witnesses that were on the scene, a male subject possibly involved in the altercation was at an address on East Shore Road. Officers responded to that address and located the 31-year-old male sitting on the front step. He had suffered lacerations. He was treated at the scene and then later transported to Baltimore Washington Medical Center. He has since been released. He was being detained yesterday for questioning by Eastern District detectives regarding his possible involvement in the altercation. He was a person of interest at that time. Further investigation revealed a 22-year-old male from Pasadena may have also been involved in that incident. He responded to the district for questioning as well. The latest information we have is detectives have consulted with the state's attorney's office,
And the information right now is that Roland Edward Scott, he was a 31-year-old male that was sitting on the step of his residence. He has been arrested and charged. His address is 7819 East Shore Road in Pasadena. The charges he's facing: second-degree assault, 2 counts of that, also 2 counts of reckless endangerment, and 1 count of possession of a deadly weapon with intent to injure, again for his involvement in the altercation. Now, folks, as always, if you have any information on any of the crimes or suspects that we mentioned on the show, don't hesitate to call, email, or text your tip to Metro Crime Stoppers Hotline. It's available 24 hours a day, toll-free. That number, you should know it by now, 1-866-7-LOCK-UP, or text message MCS plus your message to crimes at 274-637. Another alternative, visit the website, www.metrocrimestoppers.net. Remember, phone calls are not recorded and callers remain anonymous. You might be eligible for a cash reward as well of up to $2,000. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Justin. We're certainly glad to see that you're feeling better this week.
Mary Felter joins us now to preview some kinship workshops coming up. Mary?
Thank you, Karla. Today I'm welcoming back to the program Cher Torciello, who is the Kinship Navigator with the Department of Social Services. She's going to talk about the Kin Connections program, and she's brought another guest for me today, and her name is Edith Harrison. Yes. I almost called you Hamilton, I apologize. Edith Harrison, who is a district manager with the Office of the Department of Social Services in Glen Burnie, running financial services. Welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you, Mary.
Cher, I wanted to ask you to again explain a little bit about the Kin Connections program. It's been meeting for several months now. Our viewers probably need to know what Kin Connections is, though.
Sure, Mary. Thanks again for having me back. Kin Connections are designed for specific catered resources, information, and services for those taking care of a relative's child. That could be done in a formal process through the involvement of legal services and the involvement of Department of Social Services, or it can be done on an informal level as well. Those taking care of a relative's child due to any kind of a hardship or a crisis, such as incarceration or mental illness or unemployment, or some kind of substance abuse or drug addiction, terminal illness, some kind of an unfortunate circumstance. And we look at specializing resources that specifically will point kinship caregivers in the right direction.
And I understand that you set this up with some other departments here in the county?
Yes, I'd like to thank once again the overwhelming support that we have throughout Anne Arundel County and our 3 other partnering agencies, which are Department of Aging and Disabilities, Anne Arundel County Recs and Parks, and Anne Arundel County Board of Education.
I understand that you, Edith, are going to be looking at financial concerns for the kinship caregivers at some support group meetings, and what potential financial benefits can they get?
Well, basically, we would be looking at them for temporary cash assistance, which is also known as TCA, from a child-only perspective, which means that their income does not have to be included or counted. We would also look at them for medical assistance, which is basically a program that comes along with the TCA. And we would also look at them from a food stamp program, which is now called Food Nutrition and Assistance Program.
Oh, I understand. The temporary cash assistance can be used for, you said, child-only grants.
Yes.
What sort of thing are we talking about? Are we talking food or clothing or what?
Well, basically what happens is an individual comes in and they apply for a child or children that have been placed in their care. And for us, it's the children only that are included on the case, okay, and not the kinship caregiver.
Okay.
Okay, they're just basically listed as the head of household.
Okay, and it could be used to pay for like clothing that the child might need?
Yes.
Or school supplies that the child might need?
Correct.
So the temporary cash assistance would be for that, and that I understand is no income eligibility type of thing. Anyone can apply for that.
Correct.
And then I also understand you have food stamps, sometimes called SNAP nowadays, yes, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance. And what is the money used for? How can they use it, and who qualifies?
Okay, basically when an individual comes in and they are kinship caregivers, they will apply for the Food Nutritional Assistance Program. But in this particular instance, their income would have to be counted against the grant, whereas with the temporary cash assistance, it's not counted.
And what happens with medical assistance? Does income affect that as well?
No, medical assistance comes with the temporary cash assistance for the child automatically.
And this is for, it's a free health insurance program for low-income families? And
yes. And we also, it also applies to our supplemental security income, which is our SSI customers, as well as our foster care children.
I see. I don't think most people know about these things. What is the application process and where do you go to apply? And maybe also what kind of documents do you need?
Okay, basically an individual can apply in a couple of different ways. They can come into our office, and in our Annapolis office as well as our Glen Burnie office, we conduct group interviews on a daily basis, Monday through Thursday.
I see.
And in the Annapolis office, they are done at 9, 11, 1:30, as well as 3.
Okay.
In the Glen Burnie office, they are conducted at 9, 11, and 2.
Okay.
And they can also apply on our online application system, which is called merlinsale.org.
Okay.
And once applied there, their application would automatically go to our sale unit, which is in the Annapolis office, and they will be contacted for a phone interview.
Oh, that's not that difficult, it seems then.
No. Basic items that they would need should they apply, they could do it through our court system, in which case they would bring in court documentation, as well as through our service unit. And basically the service worker will provide them with something in writing stating that the child has been placed in their care. And if the relative has just placed the child with them, we would just ask if the relative could give them a statement saying that the child has been placed in their care.
Well, that's good, so that people can get that in advance and have it ready when they come down there, so they don't make a trip to the office and then have to go back home and start all over again.
Yes.
One-stop shopping.
Yes.
Is there a telephone number that people can call for information? There are 2 different numbers, I understand, one in Annapolis and...
Yes. We do have a number in Annapolis for our customer care team, as well as in our Glen Burnie office. And our number in Annapolis is 410-269-4589.
Okay.
And our number in Glen Burnie is 410-421-8539.
Okay, thank you. And can the kinship caregiver also apply for child support?
Yes. With the temporary cash assistance application, a part of that is taking supportive actions against the absent parent if they're still living. And what will basically happen is they would apply, and they would apply through the Anne Arundel County child support system. And once they apply, it doesn't interfere as far as with the TCA.
Oh, good.
Yes, and they could receive child support from those absent parents.
So it looks like coming to support group meetings that you're going to be the speaker on these topics is going to be a really good idea.
Well, we're hoping that it'll really work out really well for them, that we will be able to provide them with some guidance and some basic information that will help them feel a little bit more comfortable in the process.
I know when they take over a child, they really don't know about these programs, or they don't know what to do. So the support group meetings are a good idea. Sharon, when are they going to be held?
Mary, this month we're having 2 support groups, and Miss Edith Harrison is going to be the guest speaker for both of those on the financial benefits that the viewers were just explained to. First group is Tuesday, August 9th. That's our standing meeting at the Pascal Senior Center, 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. That location is on 125 Dorsey Road in Glen Burnie. Also that week, Thursday, late morning, 10 a.m. to 11:30. Same topic, same speakers, same open, voluntary, free, confidential meeting. That's going to be at the Annapolis Public Library, and that's on 1410 West Street?
Yes.
1410 West Street in the training room.
I understand that this is going to be a good opportunity for them. Tell us a little bit how long this program has been operational.
Sure.
Kin Connections.
Kin Connections, we're in year 2 right now. We took the first year to really put together a design plan and to go over implementation guidelines. We also conducted some focus groups specifically with grandparents from Department of Social Services and from our partnering agencies. We wanted to let their voices be heard right away. Based on their concerns, we understood that we needed to provide some enhanced resources, some more specialized services in the areas where kinship caregivers could turn for help. So a resource manual was designed at that time about little less than a year ago when we had our Kinship Caregiver Kickoff back in October. And in the guide, you'll find services on legal assistance and the financial benefits and caregiver resources. A lot of caregivers have questions on how to re-enroll kids in school, or if they need a school transfer, IEP information, mental health services, and so on. So they really can just call me at my private number, which is 410-897-3933. That's the number for myself, Kinship Navigator. And they can request any kind of information and resources that they might need, and also request a hard copy of the manual mailed to their residence.
And this is all free?
Yes, it's all free, and we do have the support groups lined up for the rest of the year. We have more guest speakers to come. We're going to be going over some topics with our partners. Department of Aging is going to come out and join us in September. We're also going to have someone from the Board of Ed come out and discuss bullying and suicide prevention, specifically in the teen population. And again, all these topics are based on hearing the voices of kinship caregivers throughout Anne Arundel County.
This sounds like a remarkably wonderful program for especially the grandparents that are all of a sudden coping with this, and really glad to know that it exists. I want to thank both of you all for coming to the program today and letting the public know a little bit more about Kin Connections and also about the financial assistance that they can receive. Thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you for having us.
This is Mary Felter, Public Information Officer for the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities for Anne Arundel Week in Review. Back to you, Karla.
Thanks, Mary.
Well, shining bright this week in the community spotlight is our own Mark Chang, who joins us from Brooklyn Park to talk about the National Night Out. Mark.
Thank you. I'm here today over at the Brooklyn Park Middle School, and here with me today I have Darren Stevens, who's the lead organizer on the upcoming Brooklyn Park National Night Out, which will be held on August 2nd from 6 to 9. Darren, thanks for coming on the show. Could you let the folks know out there what is National Night Out?
Yeah, next Tuesday, August 2nd, we're going to hold National Night Out here at the Brooklyn Park Middle School from 6 to 9 p.m. National Night Out is, I don't know how old the event itself is, but it's founded in Texas, and on the first Tuesday of every August, the communities around the country do what they call National Night Out Against Crime, and all it is awareness, to bring awareness to crime, about crime in the local neighborhoods. And for this celebration, the second annual celebration this year, we're going to have face painting with Annie the Clown. We have a DJ, Andrew Porter is coming to do our DJing. We're going to have a moon bounce from Astro Events. We're going to have free food, drinks, and chips provided by Councilman Darrell Jones and her assistant Linda Harris, along with Ed DeGrange, who is with, what is the name of his organization?
Take Back Our Streets.
Take Back Our Streets. He donated $200, so our thanks go out to them for their efforts. We're also going to have the local fire and police departments out here talking to the community about, the issues of crime in our community. And the police dog demonstration is going to go on. AJ Bartlinski karate demonstrations is going to happen. So it's going to be a big deal for this community, and I invite everyone to come out and just enjoy the night with your fellow neighbors.
Great. And the Office of Community and Constituent Services have worked with you over the past several years, and as a community activist, why is it so important for people in the community to get involved in this type of event?
Well, the more you get involved in your community, the more you get out of your community. I've been living here for about 20 years now, and I want to make it better. I have children in the community. I want things to be better, and that's basically it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for all your work that you do as a community activist in this area. We really appreciate it. It's good to have partnerships like you, citizens out there who are helping us out. And for folks who want more information about the Brooklyn Park National Night Out, how can they get more information?
Sure. You can reach me at my cell phone at 410-627-3611 or by email at jds0904@yahoo.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Darren, for talking about the Brooklyn Park National Night Out. And in addition to the Brooklyn Park National Night Out, there's also going to be National Night Out events down in South County in Shadyside over at the Lulu Scott grounds over there. And then also there's going to be one in the Crofton area at the Crofton Community Library. And then there's also one in the Fort Meade area. So if you would like more information about the Brooklyn Park one or the ones that are in the rest of the areas of the county, you can always contact the Office of Community Constituent Services, and that's 410-222-1795. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Mark. These events really help neighbors get together and do something positive for the community. We're sure to see night outs all over the county this summer.
And we have a new correspondent to add to our team this week. Kay Haney from the Department of Public Works joins us this week for another community spotlight to show us the Watershed Stewards Academy at Arlington Echo. Kay?
Thank you. And today we're on the sunny shores of the Severn River at the Arlington Echo Outdoor Education Center. I'm here with Stephen Barry and Suzanne Etkin. Stephen, can you tell us a little bit more about the Watershed Stewards Academy and how it got started?
The Watershed Stewards Academy began with Ron Bowen and I having a conversation. Ron is the Director of Public Works for Anne Arundel County. And we were talking about just how much we cared about the environment, how special things are here in Anne Arundel County. And we also then talked about how many community presentations we were doing. And we found people with a great amount of interest. They wanted to make a difference. They want to preserve what we have. And they asked us the next question: what can we do? Well, we couldn't do it all ourselves. Government can't do it all by themselves. We have to engage communities and educate our communities on what they can do. And that was the beginning of the Watershed Stewards Academy.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what's polluting our waterways and our rivers, and what can the average homeowner do to make a difference?
Well, our waterways are and they are still spectacular here in Anne Arundel County, but they're not nearly what they were. Where we're located right here on the Severn River, this was once crystal clear water that you could be neck deep in the water and clearly see your feet. That's no longer the condition. What we see in the water and what's in the water are really not that different. There's a lot of pollutants and things in here. And the main thing we're trying to concentrate with citizens, though, is what are the main pollutants? And we're looking at nutrients, which would be nitrogen and phosphorus, and then sediment, which is that part of the soil that comes in and clouds the water. It also carries a lot of other things with it.
Suzanne, could you tell me a little bit about what a watershed steward is and what they do?
Yes, Master Watershed Stewards are the most amazing community volunteers. They live everywhere from all the way down south on Herring Bay to up north in Brooklyn Park, so they span in almost every area of our county. And their mission in life is to engage their communities in helping to reduce some of the pollutants that Stephen just spoke about. So we're emphasizing things that each homeowner can do on their property to actually reduce the pollutants, and that will clean up our rivers. So Master Watershed Stewards do four things. They assess their neighborhood. So they look at their neighborhood for what are the most important pollutants and what are the possible restoration solutions. The second thing they do is educate and engage their community. So they do community presentations, environmental fairs. They work with schools. They work with Girl Scouts. Basically, they're getting the word out within their neighborhood with relevant solutions that each homeowner and person can do to clean up our bay, really putting the power in the hands of the neighborhoods to clean up the waterways. The third thing they do is they coordinate action, and those actions are reducing pollutants such as reducing lawn chemicals or picking up pet waste, and then they also help their neighborhoods rainscape. And by rainscape we mean capturing and infiltrating stormwater. So we talk about when water falls, when rain falls on the ground and it runs off our properties, it pollutes the rivers. And what we want people to do is slow it down, spread it out, and soak it in. That's things like using rain barrels or rain gardens, tree plantings, conservation landscapes. There are a number of things that every homeowner can do, but they just don't know what to do or how to do it. So Master Watershed Stewards help their communities take those actions.
Okay, quite often people we think not everybody has access to the water like this and to a beautiful location like this. But in Anne Arundel County, with 590 miles of tidal shoreline and 1,100 miles of streams, everybody is on the water and everybody's close to the water. But when we look at the problems in the way that Suzanne and the Watershed Academy is addressing them, is not trying to fix the problems here. Is that we need to go up and look at the land and see how our problems are arriving here and what human impact, how we're doing this.
How do they become a master steward?
So Master Watershed Stewards have a lot of training. To become a Master Watershed Steward, a person would go through a 5-month certification course, which our next certification begins in October and ends in April. Following that course, they do a capstone project in their community. So it would be community engagement and education, followed by rainscaping projects and pollution reduction projects. So it's a fairly long and involved certification process. We are currently recruiting for our next class of Master Watershed Stewards. We have informational sessions on August 8th, August 22nd, and September 6th. Anyone who's interested in applying to the Watershed Stewards Academy can attend any of those informational sessions and find out more about the certification process and how they can become a watershed steward.
Are there any special skills that they need?
The most important skill that we need from a watershed steward is that they want to engage their communities. It really doesn't matter if someone knows about stormwater or knows about chemistry or biology or fish or crabs. The most important thing is that they are a community leader and they can lead their community in making relevant change.
A lot of what we do in the Watershed Academy is about the way we teach, and we really like to do things hands-on. So it is about getting your feet wet and getting your hands dirty, and we teach by bringing things really relevant issues to life and teaching the way that adults like to learn. And we show those problems, show those solutions, and then we talk about, well, what's the real knowledge, what's the science that we need to have, and then it all leads to action that we can take.
How many people do they accept into the academy?
Each year we'll certify 25 people from Anne Arundel County. We are encouraging people to come in pairs or threes from a single neighborhood. We think teams work a little bit better than a single person, so we are encouraging people to apply in pairs to the Watershed Stewards Academy.
How can the general public get more information about the program?
You can visit our website, which is aawsa.org. You can also email me, Suzanne Etgen, SETGEN, at aacps.org, or you can call here to Arlington Echo, 410-222-3822.
Suzanne, Stephen, thank you so much for the information, and back to the studio.
Thanks, Kay, and welcome aboard. Looks like a great program, and I'm sure there's going to be some homework.
Well, in this week's Recreation and Parks Spotlight, Karla and Ryan will be taking a stroll, a nice leisurely stroll, down the B&A Trail. Carolyn.
Thanks, Erik. Well, we're here at the Early Heights Ranger Station with Park Ranger Matt George, and he's going to give us some information about the Anne Arundel County trails. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
Give us some general information, some background on the Anne Arundel County trails.
Great. The Anne Arundel County trails came into being in 1990 when we completed the B&A Trail, and it was part of a movement across the country called the Rails of Trails Conservancy Movement. And since then, we've completed the BWI Trail, which was an additional 12 miles of trail, and in 2004, we completed the first 2 phases of the WB&A Trail for an additional 3.5 miles of trail.
Okay. And you've got some other natural areas as well that you were talking to me earlier about. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yes, just north of Severna Park, we have the Catsill Creek Natural Area. It's a great place for birding, and we also have on the B&A Trail the Piney Orchard Nature Preserve, which has some of the best walking trails, I think, in the county.
Great. Now, I've spent a little bit of time on the B&A Trail here, and it doesn't matter what time of year, what time of day, there are always people on the trail. About how many visitors do you guys think you have each year?
Right. We estimate that we have visitation about 550,000 people every year. And especially now that we've added Jonas Green Park to our mix of parks here in the trails, we estimate that that's probably going to be over 600,000 with all the fishermen that we have here now. And Jonas Green's also one of the only 2 places in the state where you don't have to have a fishing license if you're fishing off the pier there.
Great. Now, you've also got some user groups and volunteer opportunities. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, we have mostly it's just hikers and bikers, joggers. We actually have a few areas in our trails where we actually allow equestrians to come onto the trails as well. And we have plenty of opportunities for volunteering through our Friends organization. And we always like to highlight our trailblazers too, which are kind of like our eyes and ears for the park rangers on the trails too. So if anybody's interested, just call here at the Early Heights Park Ranger Station.
Great. Well, you can get more information on the Anne Arundel County Trails or volunteer opportunities also on our website, www.aacounty.org/recparks. Thanks, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Carolyn. There are so many amenities in this county that give you a chance to get outside, go get some exercise, and explore nature.
So welcome back, Erik.
Good to be back.
You were exploring nature last week.
Well, if you call the beaches of Ocean City nature, that's nature. I guess there's seashells and crabs, and that's nature, right?
Better than being in the office.
Better than being in the office.
Getting outside.
And you will not believe this. Well, you guys were experiencing these oppressive temperatures, 115-degree heat index. It was a cool 99 degrees by the water.
That actually does sound nice right now. It's actually not as bad out right now.
That's pretty nice out.
Low 90s. That seems like nothing now after.
Seems easy, but I understand. And here's an issue that I've had come up. We're down at the beach, and you see all these big waves, and my son loves going out and jumping the waves. But we were talking off camera, and I just don't get this. The lakes have waves.
The Great Lakes have waves, Erik.
But what kind of waves are they?
That's why they're called Great Lakes.
I understand. They're big. We
this
already
isn't
talked
just
about
a
that.
little pond at a golf
Karla
course
has told me
in the
that they're
backyard.
big lakes.
They're Great Lakes.
But being an East Coast boy, someone who hasn't really been up to the Great Lakes, which is something I'll do in my lifetime, of course.
You should.
But I just could not get over the fact that the waves in Lake Michigan could rival the waves on the East Coast of the United States in the Atlantic.
Yeah, you never know, especially during a storm or during the wintertime. Lake Superior is famous for all of the shipwrecks. My husband thought the same thing as you, and we were going...
I just can't get that in my mind.
It's true. He's also from the East Coast. We were going backpacking on an island in Lake Superior a few years ago. We had to take a boat to get there because you can only go by boat or by plane. And we had 10-foot waves.
Wow.
The whole boat was sick.
Wow.
Even the crew.
10-foot waves in a lake.
Yeah.
Well, I just, you
after that, he said, okay, I get it now. I understand
I get it. And, next time I go to Lake Waterford, I'll keep in mind, lakes have waves. Maybe not Lake Waterford. Well, speaking of boats, Karla, did you see all those boats out on the Magathy last weekend, folks? It was the 6th annual Bumper Bash that drew an estimate 700 boats and a couple thousand people. The weather was hot, but temperatures were cool this year. After some concerns from the community, police stepped up their efforts to make sure it was a safe and fun event. Reports are they succeeded. In all, only 59 citations were issued and a few skirmishes were broken up. The event raised about $6,000 for the Maryland Special Olympics. And that was a big event. I mean, this is, I think, what did we say, the 5th year that they've had Bumper Bash. A lot of folks from all around, especially the Severna Park, the Arnold, the Pasadena area, they know Dobbins Island. And every year, everybody kind of goes to Dobbins and has a good time.
Yeah, I know people that went.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, they did. I was sick this past weekend, so. Yeah. And I guess I was going to ask if you went, but you were out at the beach.
I was at another beach. Not on a boat, just at a beach. But no, it was good that I was glad to see that we had a good police presence out there this time. The Coast Guard was involved, Maryland DNR Police, Anne Arundel County Police, our fire folks. I mean, they really, it can get dangerous. I mean, you mix alcohol and drinking.
And a lot of boats.
A lot of boats together. Listen, as a boat owner, as somebody who tries to dock a boat, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
A boat's not like a car.
It's not easy on any day, let alone in those circumstances.
In those conditions. So we're glad everything worked out, and we're glad that event's able to go on, because I know it's a lot of fun for people to be out on the water and enjoy Anne Arundel County. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can catch this episode online anytime at www.aacounty.org. Archive episodes are always available at blip.tv and now YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes. Please join in again next week for more highlights and news from around your county. We'll see you next time.